hourglass. It's an hourglass.
One, two.
One. It's one. Yeah.
Just one?
Yeah. It's one because they used to be in a like a wooden frame.
Yeah.
And it would have a piece in the middle.
Oh.
And on the side.
Oh. Yeah. No, yeah. Gotcha. Well, I'm with you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the only hourglass I've seen on a modern stone. So that's something to note.
The drape.
Right. And
a book.
Yep.
Bible.
That's the Bible. Normally when it's closed, it's a Bible.
And if it's open, it may be.
It may be Holy Bible if it's written, or it's Book of Life, or it could be occupational.
Yeah, it could be a profession or something like
Right. Notice the tools are upright. On some of them, they're upside down, as though the carver or the woodman had hung his tools up. But these are upright, so I'm not sure what the specific significance is supposed to be in upright markers. Upright tools.
He died as a young man too. He died at 37.
Maybe that has something to do with it.
He was still working.
Yeah.
He died in an accident.
That could be too. Can you see the symbol? With the cross. Yeah, trading the earthly burden for the heavenly crown. I think it's of interest to most people. If it was individually carved, it's normally signed down at the bottom. And we'll see some in this cemetery that are of the vintage that could have been carved by a stonemason. Remember the symbol there with the G in the middle? Yep. And that's a Masonic indicator. The person there was a member of the Freemasons. The IHS.
Weapons minister. In his service?
No. That generally is on Catholic markers. Not always. But it's the first three Greek letters of Christ's name. Also, there are three different interpretations. Another one is, in this sign, the sign of Christ, you shall conquer. Let's see this very well. It's rare to see one that's setting. So this one, I would say, is definitely a dove because you never see other birds sitting.
What's the size of the stone? Is it a scroll?
Well, this text plate is a scroll, but the style, the type of the stone is a desk because it has, this upright wedge shape.
But it's a carved stone or carved desk.
Yes.
And that might be a whippoorwill. What would be the simple way? Whippoorwill sit vertically. Doves sit upright.
Yeah.
I suspect it's a dove. There's not a great variety of birds on tombstones. Can you see what this motif is? There's a heart with a crown and a cross.
The heart?
The heart and a crown. So that has religious significance there with the cross and the crown. That's the smallest obelisk I've ever seen. Yeah. And here, this one on the ground. Does anybody remember what that shape style is? Gothic, exactly. Okay, somebody asked earlier about tablets. Here's a tablet. And if you notice, it has a Masonic compasses and square. Now, I'm not sure, let's see, date 1855 or 1853. So that's probably one of the older markers in here. A couple of little lambs for children here. Does anybody remember what that style of pedestal is called? That type? Obelisk. Exactly. That's an Egyptian form. And you wanted to say something about this?
No, I was just wanted to ask if you said something about it being signed or something if someone did it.
Oh, that was mass produced.
It is?
Yeah. I don't know all of the ways to tell. It's kind of the thing that comes with looking at many cemeteries. For one thing, the markings are very shallow. The motifs are very shallow. That's not the sign of an individual carving. But I think it's interesting, Perky pointed this out when we were here earlier, the man, of course, has this huge monument. His wife has this poor, pitiful little tablet. That's indicative of the time period. You see this, and right, that's actually a hand shape. You see the fingers coming around here. If it's a clasp, you usually don't see the fingers of the back hand. It's called a bolster, which is a type of pillow, and that just indicates the person's at rest. Okay, I don't think I showed a picture of this one, but what is this?
It's like a Roman Orthodox church.
It's buildings. It's considered to be heaven. And the inscription tells you, in my Father's house are many mansions. This is the mansion in the sky. Does anybody remember what this style is called? The pointed arch? Gothic, exactly. And the flowers, there are different flowers. If you wanted to pick this apart, you could say that each flower meant something different. Here's a calla lily, forget-me-not, some ivy, and then what's on top? Urn. All right, let's talk about that. Right, an arch. An arch means passing through the portal, going to the other side. Ferns. These are ferns. Yeah. They sure do look like cattails. I have never seen that. I wish I had my camera. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I think this is simply a planting pot because you see ferns and flowers. So I think that's just
this is something here.
It's a flower form, I believe. I believe that's a flower form. I'm not absolutely sure. I've never seen anything exactly like that.
And then here's a line that goes through like this, like a
sun. Yeah.
That's got a whole lot of stuff in it.
We could probably pick that one apart a little more. This type with the cross, that's one of the vaulted obelisks.
Yeah, this area over here is more the same.
I think it's the same general motif, just executed in different fashions. These are known as chest tombs, box tombs, and in Texas, according to Terry Jordan's book, they may also be real crypts. I don't know for sure about these, but he talks about some in Texas that actually have a hole in the ground lined with bricks. The bodies are buried down there, and then this type structure is put on top. So I don't know for sure that that's the case with these, but some he describes are like that. And these are, I would guess, some of the oldest ones here. And if you were nominating a cemetery to the National Register, these would be ones that you would want to note as having significance. It is known as a mausoleum, right? Can you tell what the motif is there?
Hand holding a rose or something.
Exactly. I think it's supposed to be a bud here and a rose here. Here we have a wreath, and that usually just means condolences, a tribute. It seems that we're getting back a little bit to Victorian times, and that people are going more all out in memorializing the deceased, especially if they were children or died unexpectedly. So in this cemetery there are several markers with photographs, and they don't appear to be Eastern European. Okay, here you see the teddy bear, and these are Hispanic, but I don't know of any particular association with teddy bears in the Hispanic community. I think that's simply a child symbol, and that was a death of a child. Here, the star indicates heaven, or the sun, Christ being the sun. The arch usually indicates a temple or entering into the portals of heaven, and then you have the pearly gate. Sometimes you'll have steps going into the pearly gate. And then the closed book would be the Bible. No, these are actually Victorian flower boxes.
Oh, yeah.
And flowers and plants were planted in the center of those.
The enclosure back.
Right. You have to get sort of close to see this. This is an Eastern star, and there are different motifs around. Here's a symbol of the globe, the earthly sphere, and these leaves are laurel. And then here's the Eastern Star motif with the Fatal, fairest among thousands, altogether lovely. If you come around to the side, there's a different motif. Here you have ivy. You have a stylized rosette with a cross. You have laurel leaves and oak leaves. The only time I've ever seen oak, laurel, and ivy all on one motif.
Why not?
Well, I'm glad you know, because I don't.
As opposed to red oak, which there's some in this cemetery. White oak has a rounded lobe.
Okay. And there are 3 markers here, and then a couple scattered elsewhere that have this same motif for Eastern Star.